Sir.
Good
Yeah.
to see everyone. Welcome to the call. All right, we are going over lead conversion mastery today. I'm going to go over just a sort of a hierarchy concept first before we jump into the tactical side of things, because I think this is really important for everyone to understand. Please ignore my third grade drawing and proportions of rectangles. Not my strength, but we'll get there. All right, so when people think marketing, we always go to new members. We always think like, I need to get new members. And a lot of the thought process with entrepreneurs in general, not even just people in our industry, is, well, in order to get new members, I need to get more leads to get more members. And it's always that correlation. I don't believe that to be true. I think new leads can help get new members, absolutely. But I also think there's other things that happen along the way that are going to directly contribute to the number of new members that you get. So if I call this like the lead conversion pillars. So if we sort of think about this, we have, and for this case, I'll put clicks. So this is ad clicks, or, I know I spelled that wrong, or website visits, depending where traffic is going. Okay, so when running an ad, if it is like a Facebook lead form ad, we are looking at number of people that click on that ad. Okay, and then there's something called a click-through rate. A click-through rate is a metric that if you ever go into your ad manager in Facebook, click-through rate is the percentage of people that click the link that actually make it to the page after the link. So for example, if you have a website that loads really slow and you're sending Facebook ad traffic to that website, the click-through rate is probably going to be really low because people aren't actually going to be patient enough to wait for the web page to load. Okay. Now, the next one we have is we have leads. Okay. And then as you guys know, we have trials. The one I'm not going to talk about today, but we're going to put over here anyway, because still part of it is upgrades. Okay. So we have this sort of funnel happening all the way down the line. Now, when we think about sort of industry average of things, I would say website click-through rates / website visitors that are going to actually convert into leads, it's small usually. It's like 5% average for membership businesses. Okay. Lead to trial conversion for, I'm going to go off our industry. Okay, not what it should be, but our industry is usually around like the 15 to 20%. Okay, and realize that as I'm running these numbers, these are averages. These aren't where I want you guys to be at. Okay, these are just the averages of these numbers. Trials to members, our industry usually hovers around 50 to 60%. Upgrades, I have zero data to show you what that percentage upgrade is. So I'm not even going to touch that. Okay, if we look at what we want it to be, what ideal numbers are, what I would consider good for my own businesses is going to be a 10% conversion of website visitors or clicks to leads when it comes to an ad. So when I'm judging if my website is performing or not, what I'm looking at is, am I getting at least somewhere close to 10% conversion from visitors to leads? If I'm not getting 10% conversion, my website is probably not doing its job. All right. For lead to trial, our goal is to get to 40 to 50%. So I'm just going to put 50% on here. And then trials to members is 85% always. From any source too, okay? So some people are like, well, when I do paid trials, we close like 80%, but then if it's like someone coming in a free class, we close like only 20% of those. This should be regardless of offer, okay? And the way you make that happen is you have a sales system that can work with any offer that people come in on. All right, if you have a sales system that only works on the exact paid trial that you're running, it sort of confines you and makes it so you're not able to actually ever change your offer. You're never able to try and test new things because your sales system is restricting the flexibility you have on that. Okay, and then upgrades again, like I don't know those numbers for schools. We do for invites, if we invite someone, our goal is 90% of the people that we invite to upgrade them. And we usually hover like around 92% on that. Okay, so these are just the general understanding. Now, what I was saying earlier is that people always think I need more leads to get more members. Well, let's put some actual numbers to this. Let's say we have 1,000. Should I just write it in the pillar? Let's say we have 1,000 website visitors or 1,000 clicks. Okay, looking at these numbers, okay, if I'm only doing 5%, that means I only have 50 leads coming from 1,000 visits, right? So one way that I can increase members is, well, what if I can get this up to 7%? Now all of a sudden I have an extra 20 leads coming in just because my website is a little bit optimized better, and all it did was get 2% better. Okay, now all of a sudden my leads have increased. Okay, same thing is being said from lead to trial. Okay, if I'm only converting 20% of these, okay, what is that, 10? My math right on that? Yes. Okay, so let's say I get, out of these 50, I get 10 trials, right? With this, if I just get this a little bit better and I get it to, let's say, 30%, right? Now I'm getting a few extra trials, didn't have to spend any more money on ads because I got better at the lead conversion. And if I can get that to 50%, now all of a sudden I'm at 25 trials from the same number of leads I was already getting before and generating 10 trials off of. Okay, so when we think about ways to get new members or to get more new members, I just want to get you guys focused on the fact that it's not always about more leads, although more leads helps, right? Sometimes it's about, well, how can we be more efficient with our processes and systems so that we can add an extra 5% here, an extra 2% here, an extra 10% here? Because when we do that, now all of a sudden we're getting the same website visitors, but it's leading to more enrollments because we're getting better and more efficient at the conversion processes between each one of these pillars. Does that make sense to everybody? Cool. If I start talking too fast or anything, just pipe up and tell me to slow down. All right, so let's go over some lead conversion best practices. All right, pop quiz. I hope everyone knows this. What is the ideal lead follow-up time? There's a window of time that you have.
5 minutes.
5 minutes, okay? We call this 5 minutes to win it. Okay. Can you grab me a different black marker, please? Thank you. We'll get a different marker so it shows up better. All right, so last 2 months, I was tracking something at Move. I wanted to see for outreach, the leads that got outreach in 5 minutes, what did they convert at compared to leads that were outreached and they were sitting there for more than 5 minutes, okay? Leads that we got a hold of in the first 5 minutes was a 48% lead conversion. Okay, so this is less than 5 minutes, right? Okay, if it was more than 5 minutes, it dropped down to 8% lead conversion. Now, some of you guys might be thinking, Adam, all of my leads get a text in the first 5 minutes. So all of my leads are getting a 5-minute follow-up. No, stop thinking that way. Here's why. If we go back coming out of COVID, absolutely that worked. All right. You could rely on text message follow-up so much for a majority of your lead follow-up and really not have to pick up the phone that much. But what happened since then? Well, how many businesses now are using text message marketing compared to 3 years ago? I would say all of them. Okay, 3 years ago, text message marketing and text message follow-up was still somewhat of a new thing. Okay, it wasn't being widely used. Now, every single business that I know of is using text message follow-up or text message notifications. So if you think about the early days of email, for example, I remember when I had my first AOL account back in the day, every email that I got at the beginning was from someone I knew. And when I would open up my email, it'd be like, oh, Jim emailed me and Bryce emailed me and whoever. It was all people I knew. Now what look at our inbox now. How many emails do you get on a daily basis that are actually from someone that you know? Like I would, if I looked at my inbox, probably 5%. Okay. Text messaging has sort of had the same thing happen. Okay. In a faster amount of time, where 3 years ago, there weren't very many marketing texts being sent out, which means if you sent out a marketing text, it stood out in the inbox of the lead because you're the only one that's texting them to follow up with something to do with business. We think about it now, how many text message reminders, notifications, and marketing do we get compared to 3 or 4 years ago? Like anywhere I book an appointment has text message marketing at now. Okay. And anytime I opt into a lead form, like I just opted into Kids Strong for one of my boys, and their whole system is text message follow-up. Every business is doing text message follow-up. But you know what every business isn't doing now? Picking up the damn phone. They are also reliant on text messaging now that they never pick up the phone. So when you get a call from someone, that is how you stand out now. Okay. It's almost switched from what it was 3 years ago. Okay. Call the damn leads. You got to call them. Okay. If you're not calling them in the first 5 minutes, just think, I know it's only 2 months of data, but 8% lead conversion when we miss it on that phone call in the first 5 minutes. Okay. Which means you got to pay attention to your notifications, your email and text notifications when a lead comes in. I went to our school last night to take and audit one of our adult classes. And when I was in there, I walked in and there's no one at the front desk. And the coach that was supposed to be covering the front desk was in the back room. And I'm like, hey, what's going on, man? I was like, why aren't we at the front desk? And he's like, well, I just came back here to do a little work because it was quieter. And I'm like, there's literally no one in the lobby. And I'm like, how are you following up with leads from here? How are we going to get it in the first 5 minutes if you're not in front of the computer where the leads are coming in at? And he's like, oh, that's a good point. So we need to make sure that if you have a front desk person, do they have the app on their phone so they're getting notifications when a lead comes in? Are they in the correct position to see those leads when they're coming in? So that can be a 5-minute follow-up. I know I was doing some research on masterminds because we were building out a new website for ours. And I opted into a few of my friends' masterminds with their permission to see sort of what their follow-up system was like. And one of them I opted into, I hit enter, and then literally within 30 seconds, my phone rang. And it was a guy from the mastermind saying, hey, I just saw your lead come through. I was getting ready to leave the office, but I wanted to make sure I reached out to you first. And that to me instantly showed me that of all those masterminds I applied for, they have the best customer service. They have the best personal touch because they didn't even wait. They were on top of it immediately. And that's what we are telling our leads when we call them within the first 5 minutes is that, hey, this is the type of service you can plan on continuing getting from our school when you arrive here. Okay, we're going to get back to you promptly. We're going to be on top of your progress, all of those things. So the 5 minutes to win it is by far, if there's nothing else you do from what I teach today, this needs to be the thing. 40% difference in lead conversion from one thing. That's it. Okay, ran over on that. Okay, so 5 minutes to win it is step one. Okay, step two. Okay, when we're responding to leads via text and all of this, okay, it should be this. It should be rapport first, trial second. This I see get messed up a lot with our clients because we can go in and obviously see your conversations and things that everyone's that's happening with the leads. I see this missed and it goes right to this. Like I've seen multiple times where someone will ask a question and their question doesn't even get answered and they just get sent a link for the trial by the owner or whoever's answering the questions for the school. And it's like, well, you just pretty much said whatever they want to know doesn't matter and just buy this instead. It's like, give me your credit card. I don't care what you want, type of thing. It needs to be rapport first, trial second. And it's hard over text message to build rapport. It just is. Okay, that's why we said have a selfie go out through text message first, so there's a face with who they're talking to via text message. Helps the rapport process a little bit easier, right? But we also know with text messaging, what can happen really easily. You can get ghosted real easily, and we've all experienced that. So usually my goal is when I'm texting them and we have a conversation going, I'll say, hey, you know what? To make this easier so we don't have to do the back and forth, I'm just going to pick up the phone and give you a call. Is that okay? And then before they even answer, I pick up the phone and give them a call. Okay. And that way, that's your now it's like text messaging is your intro to getting them on the phone. And now once they're on the phone, the rapport process is so much damn easier. I can ask them what made them want to join martial arts. And when they tell me that, I heard it was good for focus. Well, in what areas do you feel like your child needs more focus in? Well, you know what, at school, he's really struggling. Now I can start peeling back those layers, getting them to vocalize their pain so that I can provide the solution via our program. Okay, that is what we want. Okay, you will convert way more leads if you get them to verbalize their pain, because now we can provide a solution and really center the rest of our call around helping that pain point. Real quick, can everyone just make sure they're muted for me?
Okay.
We got someone's sound coming through. Thank you. Sweet. All right. Second thing, when it comes to, and you know, let's do this. I'm going to split this up between text and phone because it's a little bit different process for both. Okay, so now that we know the goal is to get them on the phone, let's start with the phone side of things first, and then we'll go over the text message stuff. Because I know there's some people that still won't answer, and you have to go through text with them. Okay, when it comes to the phone, we already talked about the rapport part first, okay? But you need to collect payment on the phone. I don't know what it is, but there's some like giant fear about asking people to pay for something over the phone. The way that we do it, and this is in martial arts systems too. If you guys look at the lead phone call script, it's all in there. But what we do is we text them the link while we're on the phone with them through the Relentless software, and we let them know like, hey, I'm going to send over this link. When you get it, I'm going to stay on the phone with you while you go through it, because I just want to make sure you don't have any issues with the site as you go through it, and that way we can make sure that we get you scheduled for your class immediately afterwards through the same website. And then while I'm on the phone, I will talk them through the funnel, the checkout page and the scheduling page, right? So I say, just go ahead and fill out those forms. I'll be here. I'll be patiently waiting for you. I let them fill it out while they're on the phone. Then I say, all right, awesome. Once you hit submit, next we're going to book your first class. They'll hit submit. You should see a page that allows you to select which program based on age group for your child. Please make sure you select the right program for Johnny. They click it. All right, now you're going to see all of our open availabilities. Which day and time do you think works the best for you? Okay, and we're just there walking them through it, and it's really to ensure that they actually do it and they actually pay. What drives me crazy is when I see a staff member be on the phone and be like, all right, as soon as I get off the phone, I'm going to send over the link so you can purchase the trial. They ain't purchasing anything when they get off the phone. They're going to get distracted by their kids. They're going to think of something else they forgot to do. And then that trial is never coming through. So instead, we need to make sure that we walk them through the process on the phone, which means whoever's following up with your leads needs to know what the checkout page looks like. They need to know what the next page looks like for program selection. They need to know what the calendar page looks like. So what we do is at the end of that lead conversion script that's in martial arts systems, we just put screenshots of those 3 pages on the bottom or on the last page of the script. So that way our team doesn't need to go to the computer and pull it up. They can see the screenshots like on the script and talk them through what to click. Okay, and it just makes it much easier that way. So screenshots on the script. Okay. We also have this other rule that when anyone at my school is on the phone, they must stand up. Why do you think we have that as a rule? This is the audience participation segment, not rhetorical. Yeah, energy. Exactly. Thank you, whoever put that in the chat. Energy. Their energy drastically changes based on whether they're sitting and talking or standing and talking. And we don't only do this on the phone, it's any interaction. So any interaction with people, whether it's phone or in person, if you're behind the desk, you have to stand up. Okay, if you're on the phone, you can stay behind the desk. If you're not on the phone, we actually make you walk around the other side unless you're like ringing someone up or getting them something from the computer. It just creates a better interaction. Okay, and it also changes the energy of whoever you have at your front desk when it's time to talk. Okay, next. If I were to ask you, when was the last time you and your team role played your phone call script? You don't have to tell me, but what would that answer be? Just think about it. And I'm going to equate it to this. So whatever that is, maybe it's a month, 2 months, 6 months, maybe it's never. This is it. We know that this phone call script is an important part of your business to get new members in, right? It would be similar if you asked a student, hey, when was the last time you practiced a front kick? And then they gave you that exact same answer of the number of months that you just thought of in your head. Would that be acceptable or unacceptable? That's for you to decide. This needs to happen pretty often. Okay, even when your team is crushing it, you still need to role play. And the reason being is when your team starts crushing it, it's awesome. The numbers are great. Their confidence skyrockets, but they also sometimes will get so overconfident that it's their ability and has nothing to do with the script that they subconsciously start changing the script and going off script on their calls. And then 2 months later, the numbers drop back down and they can't figure out why. And it's just because they decided to start doing their own thing because their confidence became too big. So the role playing is during when you're not doing good, when you're doing good, it should happen consistently because we want to make sure that they stay on track with what they're supposed to say and going through the right steps in the right order to make sure that they're maximizing the number of leads that convert. Okay, and the last thing, actually got 2 more. They need to peel back the layers, which we already talked about, so I'm not going to cover that a ton. But we also have them write down everything. So with our phone call script, we have a stack of them at the front desk. It's not like laminated or anything like that. The reason we have a stack is that there's lines on the phone call script of where they're supposed to write down the information they're getting from the person on the phone. I don't want them sitting there and trying to type it into Spark or whatever CRM you're using while they're on the phone because it takes away from the conversation. So instead, we have them take notes during the call, and then once they hang up, they enter it into Spark or whatever they need to enter it into, the Relentless software. And then that way, it's a seamless phone call. Because especially with younger people, I notice, and nothing against you young people on this call, with younger people, I see they have trouble switch tasking to go type and then back to the call, type to the back of the call. When they type, they're not talking or listening, which is a problem because then they're missing information, they're missing that rapport building process, okay? All right. The lead script is in Martial Arts Systems. I'm not going to go over that today because you guys can just go in there and watch the video and download the script and start role playing right away. Okay, next let's talk about text messaging. All right, so text message best practices. And then I'm going to give you guys a couple bonus things that we've been doing lately that have actually improved text message conversion. Okay, first thing, emojis. Don't go overkill with emojis. We don't want it to look like a 12-year-old teenage girl is texting them back. But you should use like some thumbs up emojis or smiley face emojis once in a while because when we get a text message, we read it in our mood. Like, how many times have we ever gotten a text message from someone that was just an innocent text message, but we took it wrong because we weren't in the right mindset, or we were having a bad day, or our kids were driving us crazy at the moment and we were frustrated at the moment when we read the text. It happens. Okay, so because of that, when you put like a thumbs up emoji at the end, it automatically just tells them that, like, hey, this is positive. Read this in a good voice. We pretty much just stick to thumbs up, smiley face, and that's pretty much it. We don't really use in the muscle. We use the muscle too, like to encourage people. Next is end with questions. Okay, so when I'm talking via text message, I'm never going to end a text message with a period. That's my rule. Because what happens when you end it with a period? You get ghosted. They don't respond, okay? So I always end it with a question so they know I want the conversation to continue. I want to hear back from you, all right? So it could even be something as simple like, how does that sound? Or does that sound good? That can be a simple one, okay? When I send the link for the trial, if this is all going through text and not phone, I wait 30 seconds and then I text them, did the link work okay for you? I'm at that way. If it didn't, they can tell me, or they might say something like, oh, I didn't click it yet. I'm going to do it after work today. Hey, no worries. I'll check back in when you're done with work. Does 5:30 sound good? Awesome. I'll check back in just to make sure everything worked okay. Always end with questions. I could probably go into any accounts right now, and if there's a text message conversation where there's not questions being asked consistently, it's probably dead after like the first couple text messages. We see that consistently. So definitely make sure you're ending with questions. Also, this is not email. Stop sending text messages that are more than one paragraph. I went into one school's account and I swear every text message was six paragraphs long. No one's scrolling through that whole thing on their phone. They barely want to talk to you to begin with. They're not going to read 6 paragraphs of something from someone they don't know. So the other thing to think about too is text messages that are too long get broken up depending on the carrier. So for example, AT&T has a character limit that they'll send through as one text, which means if you type in more characters than that limit, it's going to break it into multiple text messages, and it doesn't always send it in the correct order either, which means they're going to get this giant glob of goo sent to them that they don't know how to interpret, okay? And it's going to kill the conversation, right? It is not email. Do not send it as email. Okay, next. I would encourage you guys to use video via text message as much as possible, okay? I'm going to give you guys a few examples of this. So let's talk about when you're getting ghosted. Okay. When we get ghosted via text message, obviously the text message that we're sending is not getting their attention. It's not working for whatever the reason is. So then I'm going to send a personalized video to that lead. So I remember during COVID, I used to do this, right after COVID. And the line I would start with in the videos, I'd be like, hey, John, this is Adam from Move Martial Arts. I'm just giving you a call. I don't know if you're social distancing in general or just social distancing for me because I haven't heard from you. And it's just like a sort of like a tongue-in-cheek joke about us not hearing from them. Same thing now, though, like obviously not social distancing, but when we send a personalized video, I will send it and be like, hey, it's Adam from Move Martial Arts. Jonathan, I don't know if you've been getting my text messages or if you're just like the busiest dude in the world, which could totally be true. I just want to make sure that I follow through with my responsibility of getting you the information that you requested. Hey, if you can just shoot me a text back when you get this video and just give me a couple of times, that would be great for me to jump on the phone with you so that we can get your child all the information that they need to get started in our martial arts program. Because I know that they're going to love it, and I don't want this to be a missed opportunity for you guys. That's it. Just the fact that you took the time to send a personalized video is going to increase the chances of a response from that person. The like version of this on steroids is the group video. So we do this at our Thursday staff training. Our manager is going to print out a list of leads from the last 2 weeks that have ghosted us and stopped responding. And then what we do is, since we have our core group, our leadership team there, we do a selfie video with the whole team. And we go 1, 2, 3, I hit record, and then everybody goes, Jonathan, we miss you, man. We're trying to get a hold of you. Where you been? Like, everyone says the name at the same time, and then whoever's in the front will be the main person that talks. Now, when they get this text, they have this video from the entire team of people that they don't know, giving them energy and giving them personalized attention to try and get them in the door. Do you think any other business on the planet is doing that right now? Probably not. Do you think any other business they're interacting with is doing that right now? No. And here's one example of how great this worked. So we had a lead that 2 weeks we didn't hear anything from via text message. Didn't answer calls, nothing. We sent the group video and we got our first response from that lead after 2 weeks. That lead had signed up with a trial membership with another martial arts school, quit the trial to come sign up with the trial membership for us just because of the group video we sent. The mom came in and said, you know what, I could instantly tell that there was something different about you guys compared to the martial arts school we were at, just because you guys made that effort to send that video. Like, it's those little things that they appreciate, right? So sending the group video when you're getting ghosted. The other things that we'll send, testimonial videos. For us, we don't really do too much of the individual personalized. We usually go straight to group. But I know some of you guys are like one-person shows. So personalized video is still really good. Testimonial videos and then tour videos, where you're just doing a walkthrough of your school, highlighting a few things in the tour, and then make sure if you do this, you just cut in some action shots of classes happening. I'm gonna tell you guys something, and Leah's got to plug her ears. The video we sent out for the tour, I made an iMovie. It doesn't need to be like this giant production. Okay, I made it an iMovie. It took me like 10 minutes to make it. It is not great editing. It is not like the craziest video you've ever seen. It looks like I shot it on my iPhone and I edited an iMovie. But it works. Okay, and why is the tour video great? Because it gets rid of the unknown for the parent. It gets rid of a lot of the question marks for the parent. When they see you walking through, they see the kids smiling and having fun, getting a good workout, getting fit, being athletic, all those things. So it helps the parent to reconsider why they haven't been responding to you. All right. And it's not just like the same old text message that they would get from any other business that they opt into. Right. We're doing it different now. Use video as much as possible. The other thing that we're testing right now, and I don't have a lot of data on this because we literally just started, is infographics. So I actually think if you guys are in Content Club, I think today's post was actually a martial arts infographic. If I'm correct on that, maybe it was yesterday's post. But the infographics are a quick way for them to see the benefits of your program in image form. So for ours, we have like a kid in the movie uniform, like an animated kid, like illustrated kid in the movie uniform. And then all it is like these little lines pointing to the kid's brain, his arms, and different things that just highlight quickly the benefits of our program. Okay, so like when it's pointing to the brain, it's saying like athletic focus and unbelievable confidence, unshakable confidence, sorry. And it just touches on what they learn from there. And then the text that goes with it, we just say, hey, we just want to shoot you over this quick infographic. We surveyed our parents to see what are the biggest benefits their child got from our program. And this infographic highlights all their answers. So also, when we word it like that, it's not coming from me. It's not me saying, hey, this is why our program is so awesome for you. Hey, we surveyed our parents. When we asked them what their kids got out of our program, this is what they came up with. And we want to send this to you in image form so it's easy to see. Like really simple, okay? All of these for text messages are important. The other thing I will say moving on past text messages and phones, and then we'll open it up for questions, is you have to track your leads. This gets missed a lot. How do you know if you're tracking your leads correctly? Well, if I ask you how many times Jonathan Smith has been called in the last week, can you tell me? If I ask you who are the hot leads, who are the cold leads, who are the leads that need callbacks because they're no-show, do you have all of that like easily accessible? With my team, there's two different ways they like to track leads. So we do both. First is in the Relentless software and the opportunity pipeline. Okay, so when you click on that, it shows you columns of like cold leads, warm leads, hot leads, appointments booked, showed, no showed, all of those, right? My manager prefers doing it on a spreadsheet. Okay, for whatever reason, it's fine. Like our coaches still use that pipeline and both get updated, but we also have a lead tracking spreadsheet in martial arts system as well. And it's the same one that I use at my school. And we set it up so when a lead comes in, it just automatically goes in the spreadsheet. My team doesn't have to do any data entry. It just populates in there using Zapier. We have a tutorial in there. If you guys are like Clicks to Kicks Academy, there's a tutorial on how to set it up. If you guys want us to set it up for you, just shoot us a message. Like email support if you want to start using lead tracking spreadsheet. And our tech team will go ahead and make the integrations for you. So that way, anytime you have a lead come in from your ads or from your website, we can pipe them directly into the spreadsheet. And then the spreadsheet has different columns on it. One of the ones is C1 through 6, and that's calls 1 through 6. There should be at least 6 calls for every lead. And then our team will initial in those columns when they call that lead. There's also a status column on there with a drop-down box. So you can put like cold lead, hot lead right on there, just like you'd be able to do in the Relentless software. Really up to you guys how you track them, but they have to be tracked because the thing that I see pretty often in all industries, not even just ours, is people give up on leads so fast. Like so fast. And my team was doing that for a while. And this is what I did with them, okay? At the time, our cost per lead was $35 when I did this training with them. Okay? We know that our lifetime value for a student at our school is 2 times 14, $2,800. So with our team, we pretty much took what our lead conversion was at the time, which was like, it was a bad month. We were like at 20% lead conversion. Okay. And I pretty much just taught them, I go, we're paying $35 per lead. And I think that month we had like 60 leads and 20% conversion. I don't even know what that is. Well, let's say it's 15 leads. All right. So we had 45 leads that did nothing. So I said, all right, guys, best case scenario, we multiply $35 times 45 leads. That's how much money we just threw in the garbage this month. That's best case scenario. Worst case scenario, I multiplied 2,800 by 45. We just threw away tens and tens of thousands of dollars because we weren't disciplined enough to stay on top of our lead follow-up. We gave up on our leads after 3 days. That's not acceptable. We have a responsibility to every single lead because if we pride ourselves on customer service and a lead gave us their information because they want information from us, our customer service is terrible if we're not getting them that information because 3 days was enough work in our eyes and past 3 days was too much work. Is that good customer service? No, because we didn't get them what they asked for. So instead, if we want to have 5-star customer service, it means that we are going to fight to make sure that every single lead that comes in gets the information that they requested. And regardless if they have a busy life, their schedule is crazy, they work weird hours, like no excuses for why we aren't still following up with them to get them the information that they need. Because in my eyes, that's unacceptable. I would appreciate, as a busy person myself, if I wanted information for something And even if the person was calling me back over and over and over again, and it was just wrong time, wrong time, wrong time, I would want them to be persistent until we're actually able to connect and get on the phone, if it's something that I really wanted. So we need to make sure that we're doing that for all of our leads and all of our prospects as well, because that is great customer service. That is what it's about. I went to a Ford dealership, God, 3 or 4 months ago at this point. And I talked to a guy named Tim because I was looking at possibly getting a electric F-150 pickup truck and trading in my electric Mustang for that one. And I met with the guy. I decided at the time that I was going to wait and decided not to move forward. I get 3 text messages a week from this dude and like 4 phone calls a week from him. Nonstop. And we haven't connected yet, but I appreciate the hell out of his tenacity and follow-up that if I ever do want to buy any type of Ford car again, I am definitely going to that dealership because I know that they're going to follow up. I know they're going to follow through with things. And he's always polite. He's always respectful about it. And it doesn't matter what day of the week, he follows up with me. That is the type of people that I would prefer to work with, honestly, because they are going to go above and beyond to get the job done. I can tell just by the lead follow-up system. It's crazy. I haven't seen that guy in 4 months, and I remember his name is Tim because of how often he reaches out to me still. So we have to track our leads, and we have to make sure that we are relentless, pun intended on this one, in our follow-up. Let's open up for questions. And I'll pop up the chat just in case we have any in there. All right. While we're going through questions, if you guys have any, if we could real quick just share your biggest takeaway from today's call, you can just chime in through chat, or if you want to unmute yourself and talk. I would just sort of like to hear what was like the thing that you got from today that maybe was missing before today's call. And if it's nothing, that's fine to say too.
For me, Adam, I think it was just we're giving up on the leads too easy. And I right before you said that, I just texted 3 of the people on my team saying we're just giving up too easy. And I think that's I know that I'm not in my schools every day anymore, and that's something that I wouldn't do because that's part of how I'm driven. But something that we're seeing from our younger staff and team members is that they're just giving up on the leads a little too easy. And I know that I saw Brian just put in the 5 minutes response call there. Is that we have a hard time with that too because of the scale that we're at. But we're just giving up too easy. We got to be more creative and more driven to follow up and find a way to have make a raving fan, so to speak, right? I mean, whether you go back and buy a Ford or not, Tim made an impression, but because that could be somebody we hire in the future too.
Yes.
I would hire that guy all day if he's following up that way, right? So that's the biggest takeaway I got.
Love that. And the one thing I would encourage all you guys to do is when you're role playing, we have this habit of always role playing best case scenario when everyone role plays. Like we're role playing, we're going all the way through the script. They got the sale every single time. And by doing that, you're not setting up your team for success. Because what happens is when they start picking up and calling leads, they get all these people not answering. Then they get their first person on the phone finally, and the person says no, they're not interested. How ambitious is that person going to be about following up with leads then? Let me switch the video real quick because I think it froze here. Especially those younger people, they don't take rejection in a positive way. It's going to make them not want to do lead calls ever again. So when you role play, you have to role play failure too. So there's sometimes when we'll role play where they'll be like ring ring, and they'll pick up, they'll answer, and then they'll be like, hey, I want to get you some information. I'll be like, no, I'm not interested anymore. And then like they're not used to it and they just sort of freeze and they don't know what to say. And then they hang up and then like, well, what was I supposed to do? You have to role play every possible scenario with your team. It's just like when we do instructor training at our school and they're doing drills, I'll go up to some of the other instructors that are acting as students and be like, hey, I just want you to randomly start spinning in a circle anytime you want. And then I'll walk away. And then they have that kid spinning and they have to go handle that kid that's spinning in a circle while they're still running the drill. Like it prepares them for when the crap hits the fan in a real class. So they don't panic, they don't freeze, They're used to it from role playing it. Needs to happen on the phone, needs to happen with your sales system. Get your people used to rejection. Date on 5-minute rule, 5 minutes, phone calls, everyone gets a call. Call the damn leads, absolutely. Video and text, group video, 5-minute respond, phone call, awesome.
The data on that 5-minute rule that's killer. That's a game changer. But also another comment that you made that really resonated with me was even when your team is killing it, they still need to role play. That is huge.
Yeah, I think of it this way. We think about like top athletes. Like, I always go back to Michael Jordan because I'm a Chicago kid at heart. Michael Jordan, best player in the world. Do you think he like stopped practicing when he was the best player in the world? No, he had to practice harder because he wanted to maintain that position. So it's sort of the same thing I see like with any of our numbers. Just because we're crushing it doesn't mean we don't stop practicing what we're crushing it at, because it needs to still be practiced the right way. We still need to make adjustments along the way as well. And it's just like when you have a kid learning a form at your school, like just because they have the form good doesn't mean we're going to have them stop practicing the form. They still need to be able to perform it at a high level. They still need to remember it. They still need to perform it for their black belt test. We want them to keep practicing it to get those repetitions in. All right. Was this helpful to everyone today, this call? Awesome. Thank you guys so much for joining. We do have the martial arts systems call at 12 today. So we're going to be breaking down some different areas of martial arts systems. We had a question come in. Sorry, excuse my ignorance. Besides staring at the dashboard, what is the best way to see the new leads in the order that they come in? Great question. So Karina, you can do that like through the conversations tab because any new leads will be in there. The oldest ones will be at the bottom, newest ones at the top. The other thing is the lead tracking spreadsheet. So we use that at our school as well. And that if you email support or if you email your ad ninja, either one, we can get that set up for you as well, where the leads automatically populate in the spreadsheet. And it's a Google sheet, so it'll all live online. And they can get that set up for you as well. Good question. All right, guys. Hopefully I'll see some of you guys on the call at 12 today. If not, we'll see you guys on the next webinar. And as always, if you guys need help with anything, please reach out. Our team is happy to assist. Thanks, guys.